The Texas-Georgia game has sex appeal. It's funny, though, it's not as much as I thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get 1 versus 2. And we're not. You're going to get 1 versus 5. But I will say this, the storylines for this game in a lot of different ways are really, really compelling. I mean, it's not just good football. It is. But there's a bunch of cool storylines to it. So here you go. And I said storylines. This is not necessarily predictions. I just think these are the aspects that make that game cool on a number of levels, including some pressure. And the pressure's not on the hometown team, I don't think. Number one, it is almost a must-win for Georgia. Not Texas, Georgia. I said almost, but it's a short shelf life this season for Georgia without a win in Austin. They'll get in the 12-team tournament with 2 losses. I think the SEC is going to get 4, possibly 5 teams, but certainly 4 almost no matter what. You know what I think of this tournament. I think it's fixed, but I think you like it that way. So they get in with 2 losses. If they were to lose in Austin, they would then have to run the table because 3 losses, depending on where it happens late in the year, is almost a deal breaker for them. And that's a loss to Texas just sets them up in a terrible spot on every level. There's that. All that pressure is on Georgia. It's not must-win for Texas. It's not at all. I think it's still entirely possible, particularly if Georgia would have beat Texas in Austin. I think it's entirely possible they play each other 3 times. And then I think that whole storyline by itself is something to debate. There are some people that would think Georgia v. Texas 3 times. In other words, regular season, championship game, and then in the 12-team tournament. Some people think that's cool. Other people, myself included, think it's trash. The same thing could happen to Oregon, Ohio State. Also, the quarterbacks. The storyline of the quarterbacks is, I can't remember. I think you'd have to go back to 2008 in Austin. It was Troy Smith of Ohio State, who I think won the Heisman Trophy that year. And then it would have been Colt McCoy to have this good of a quarterback matchup. And even in that case, Colt McCoy was not, neither one of them were going to be a high draft pick. So the quarterback setup, you got Carson Beck at Georgia, Quinn Ewers of Texas, both among the top 5 coming out this year. Both will be among, I'm not saying the top 5 of the draft, but they're going to be the top 5 quarterbacks coming out. And Beck is, as of right now, looked at it last night on ESPN's draft board, Beck is the 3rd quarterback off the board as of now. Shedeur Sanders is 1, and Cam Ward at Miami is 2. Quinn Ewers is at 5 right now. I don't know if 5 would be a first-round pick or early second-round pick, but both are among the top 5. That's set up pretty nicely. Then you get the Heisman Trophy, which seems like an afterthought right now, but I think people are not understanding what the Heisman Trophy is. And yeah, I do think the winning quarterback with big numbers on Saturday night all of a sudden is back in the Heisman Trophy race all over again. It doesn't matter what happened before now. And here's the reason why, and it's not fair at all. But a big number posted by either quarterback gets them and a win. I don't think you can light it up and still, I don't think you'd light it up and lose, period. But you can't light it up and then lose. Either quarterback lights it up and wins, they're in the Heisman race. Of course, I would argue with any one of you, the award should go to Travis Hunter, assuming he's healthy enough because of Colorado. He's the best player of the past 10 years. He's the best football player easily of the past 10 years. If he's still playing and healthy for the remainder of the year, it should be his. But I don't know that it will. The Heisman Trophy goes to the most celebrated player on the most celebrated team. You set that up by being in the most celebrated game. Outside of Ohio State and Oregon, this is the most celebrated game. And it's a quarterback's award. The winner gets back in the race, very much so. But Jeff, Quinn Ewers has missed a month. Doesn't matter. It's just about, what kind of show you put on when everyone is watching. And Saturday night is the biggest show. Second biggest game so far this year. The last time, imagine this. When was the last time Georgia was a 4-point underdog? The line, and this is a story by itself. I'd have a hard time touching this. I think most people think that Texas is going to win. That number at 4 is pretty scary. It started at 3. It's made its way to 4, and it's Wednesday. That number might get up to 5 by the time they kick off, which is just crazy. The last time Georgia was a 4-point or more underdog had to be in Kirby Smart's first year, because since then, there's no way. Maybe a Bama game, but I don't know. That feels like a crazy number. Another storyline, it's the biggest game in Austin since 2008. Easily. And then before that, I don't even know. Most of us weren't around. The 60s, I guess. The biggest game, easily. With the most sex appeal, the blue bloods of football, all that stuff. Since 2008, that would have been Ohio State and Texas. That was a big quarterback matchup too, but not to this level. How about this? This is something to think about. Play around with this when you're bored, having a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, just for kicks. See what a hotel room will cost you in Austin this weekend. Just I don't know, pick a few. Four Seasons. Find anywhere between, what do we want to say, San Marcos and Leander. See what that'll set you back this weekend. Oh, but Jeff, it's a big football game. Are you kidding me? You do know there's a Formula One race, right? Yeah, so go on right now and just see if you just want to get away for a night. Just go downtown, throw down, I don't know, like $3,000 overnight stay. So not only is the football world, college football world, including all of ESPN in town for Georgia v. Texas, but there's this small thing called the Formula One race that is a giant event by itself. The helicopters, if you can fly a helicopter at all and you have access to one, I suggest you start charging right now, because they'll be buzzing all over this city back and forth. Throw in about, what do we say, about a couple 100,000 new people or visitors this coming weekend easily. That's on top of the last weekend that had nobody. It was a ghost town last weekend. So not only that, Formula One race, Texas v. Georgia, but get this. And of course he's booked for the show. Brandon just told me it's set up for, what time did he say Eminem is on this show on Friday?
About 5:45.
Okay.
Right to close.
Yeah, 5:45.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's it. So it's just become a thing. Just like Dua Lipa was on this show last Friday. Remember that? You checked that out, haven't you? She ordered a Jeff Ward hat. Eminem is on this show on Friday. So it's just, every Friday is another big star. Then he's just going to play. He's going to do all of the Soccer Mom hits here Friday for all of you. And then we get some nerdy football parts of this. It's, they're two really good teams. Georgia's got more issues than we thought. Everything about Texas looks good, but you have to pump the brakes a little bit because they just really haven't played anybody any good. Michigan was a train wreck. Oklahoma, also a train wreck. I thought this was an interesting take. I think this is Greg McElroy on ESPN earlier this morning or something like that. I thought he broke this down pretty fairly and accurately.